We have Maritime and Dock Workers Union, MDU, the leadership and members. Local Government Workers Union, the leadership and members. We have the Union of Industry, Commerce and Finance Workers, UNICOF, leadership and workers. Thank you so much. The General Secretary and members of Federation of University Senior Staff Association of Ghana, FUSA, are you here with us? Thank you so much. Brother Chair, invited guests, we also have the General Secretary and the leadership of Construction Building Material Workers Union. Are you here with us? Give us a wave. Thank you, thank you. We have the leadership of National Union of Seamen, Port and Allied Workers, NUXPAL. Thank you, thank you. We have Cocoa Research Institute Workers Union. Craig, give us a wave. We have the leadership of General Construction, Manufacturing and Quarries Workers Union. We also have the Union of Informal Workers, UNIWA, with us. If you are here, give us a wave. Thank you so much. We recognize your presence. We also have the Executive Secretary of APRO. If you are here, give us a wave. Present here with us, Brother Chair, invited guests, we have the Secretary General of GFL. GFL, together with the team, if you are here, kindly give us a wave. GFL. Thank you so much. We have the General Secretary of NAT and membership of NAT. If you are here, kindly give us a wave. Thank you so much. We have the President of NAGRAT, the leadership and members. If you are here, can we see you giving us a wave? President and members, you are welcome. Thank you. We have the Executive Secretary of CLOSAC and members. If you are here, can we see you giving us a wave? CLOSAC. Thank you. We have the General Secretary, the leadership and members of ICU. Can we see you giving us a wave? Membership of, thank you, thank you. The President and membership of NAM, Ghana. Are we here? NAM, Ghana, the President and membership. Thank you so much. We recognize your presence. We also have the President and the membership of GRNMA. GRMA, are we here? Thank you so much. The President and members of JUSA, are we here? The President and members. Thank you so much. We recognize you. We also have the President and members of CCT. Are we here together? CCT. We also have with us the General Secretary, the leadership and members of Ghana Railway Workers Union. Can you give us a wave? We have supporting the Labour Minister, the Deputy Minister Designate. If he's here, can we see you give us a wave? Thank you so much. We recognize you. Brother Chair, brothers and sisters, you are all welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Chair. We want to invite the chairperson for today's occasion, Brother Alessia Opoku, Chairman of TUC, to give us the welcome address.
So before I give my welcome address, I want to plead with all of us to be upstanding, so we give 1 minute silence for our fallen heroes. May the souls of our fallen heroes rest in perfect peace. Amen. Your Excellency, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency, Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Ministers of State, Honorable Members of Parliament here, members of the Diplomatic Corps, leadership of organized labor, President of the Ghana Employers Association, Director General of SNIT, fellow workers, ladies and gentlemen. It is with my joy that I stand here for the first time to welcome you all to this year's Mini May Day celebration. I call it Mini May Day celebration because the usual numbers that are expected of us during our May Day celebrations had not been so. May Day is an important occasion for working people to raise their collective voice on the challenges facing them. It is a day working people the world over meet to review and assess their conditions as well as their place in the world of work and within the society as a whole. In Ghana, May Day is special because it does not only bring workers together, but it also provides workers with a unique opportunity to meet and to engage with the President of the Republic, ministers of states and parliamentarians who, despite their heavy schedules, make time to be with us on this special day when we meet to celebrate, despite their heavy schedules, make time to be with us when we meet to celebrate our contributions to the social, economic, political, and cultural development of our country. It is my fervent hope and prayer that the events of today will leave pleasant memories in the minds of workers in particular and Ghanaians in general. I expect all of us to reflect on the significance of the day and also take cognizance of the addresses from the President and the Secretary General of the TUC. I want to take this opportunity to appeal to all my fellow workers in the spirit of patriotism to patronize made in Ghana products in order to help in the economic recovery due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is so my dear to me, so we can also expand our economy and create more employment for our teeming youth. On this note, I welcome all of you to this year's Mini May Day celebration, but remember, COVID-19 is still around, and so please do well to observe all the protocols to protect yourselves and others. May God bless all of us. Long live organized labor. Long live trade union solidarity. Long live Ghana. Thank you all.
Thank you, Chairman of TUC. We are going to sing the Workers' Song of Dedication on page 4, Roll the Union On. Sound. Please, let's stand up. Workers, let's stand up. Please, our dignitaries can sit down. Okay. Okay.
We're gonna roll it. Sound. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the union on. If the boss is on the way, we're gonna. If the boss is on the way, we roll it over them. We're gonna roll the union on. We shall sing the fourth, which is the last stanza. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the union on. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll. We're gonna roll the union on. When the boss is on the way, we're gonna roll it over him. Roll it over him. Roll it over him. Oh, it's all about on the way. We're gonna roll it over him. We're gonna roll the union on. So boy, yeah. Please be seated.
Before the Secretary General of TUC comes, we'll read some few placards. We have Green Ghana from Timber and Woodworkers Union of TUC. We have some few placards here. Ghanaian workers' salaries are too low, Mr. President. Mr. President, why the delay in the negotiations of national minimum wage and base pay for public sector workers? Mr. President, Railway Act 779 of 2008 needs a review. Mr. President, our past credits. Mr. President, spare workers of new taxes. So these are few. There are more. We'll be reading it, and I'm sure His Excellency is reading it from where he's sitting. So we'll go on and invite the Secretary General of TUC Ghana in the person of Brother Anthony Yauban to give us the May Day address. Choboy! Choboy!
His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Ignatius Bafewua, Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, Honorable Bright Ureku Brobe is here with us, Deputy Minister Designate for Employment and Labor Relations, His Excellency Pedro Luis Despange Gonzalez and his wife, the Cuban ambassador. They are here with us. Brother Areski Mezud, Secretary General of Organization of African Trade Union Unity. Mr. Daniel Champong, President of Ghana Employers Association. Mr. Alex Frimpong, CEO of Ghana Employers Association. Dr. John Ofori-Tinkrine, Director General of SNIT. Mr. Johan Ivanov, Resident Director of Fred Kerbert Foundation. All our special guests, brothers and sisters. On behalf of the leadership and members of Organized Labor Fraternity, I would like to join the chairman of TUC to welcome the president to the Trade Union Hall once again. I would also like to welcome the vice president and all our special guests to this special May Day event. Thank you very much for celebrating May Day with us. Under normal circumstances, this is not how we celebrate May Day in Ghana. We usually have tens of thousands of workers congregating to celebrate this important day across the country. But due to COVID-19, we have had to change the way we celebrate May Day in this country. Last year, we celebrated May Day at GBC Studios with only 15 organized labor leaders. It was a very unique way of celebrating May Day, and significantly, His Excellency the President was there with us. Today, we are celebrating May Day with about 500 organized labor leaders and members. It shows that we are not out of the woods yet, but it is a significant improvement on last year's May Day celebration, and an indication that Ghana is gradually but surely recovering from the effects of the deadly coronavirus pandemic. Again, the President is here with us, with his Vice President and the Ministers of State. It is important to note that the President has honored all our invitations since he was elected in 2016. Mr. President, we appreciate the importance you attach to labor relations and to social partnership. In the last few months, we have had the privilege to interact with the President a few times, including our interaction with him in March 2021 at the TUC Congress at Abankro in the Ashanti region. On those occasions, we brought some pertinent national issues to the President's attention, including issues relating to the fight against COVID-19 pandemic, pension and lump sum top-up, housing for workers, the need for the review of our labor law to protect workers, delays in the negotiation of the national daily minimum wage and public sector base pay, establishment of national unemployment insurance, training and retraining of workers who have lost their jobs, and the need for stronger social partnership with all workers, including farmers and informal economy workers, and the need to strengthen labor administration institutions, including the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, the National Labor Commission, the Labor Department, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and Factories Inspectorate Department, as a means of ensuring a peaceful labor front for economic development. The President has, on all those occasions, responded positively to our concerns and suggestions. As part of the efforts to ensure that the organized labor May Day speech reflects the concerns of workers, what we did was to solicit views from all organized labor groups. And Mr. President, the following are some of the major issues that were raised by the unions that are operating in both the formal and informal economies in the country. First is pensions. And we got a number of unions mentioning pensions, the various aspects of pension, including the need for top-up for second-tier beneficiaries. The other issue that came out very well had to do with poor housing for workers. Then, followed by the delays in the negotiation of national minimum wage, as the placards are showing. And of course, the base pay for public sector workers. Another issue that came up was the Galamsey menace and the effects it has on our economy and on our environment. Then threats of import restrictions on Ghana's cocoa by European Union. The inability of local buying companies to pay farmers for cocoa beans purchased. The blatant violation of workers' rights by some employers, with special reference to the right of freedom of association and collective bargaining. There was also the issue of non-payment of SNIT contribution by some employers. Then the introduction of new taxes and increases in existing ones, which impose additional burden on motorists and push up prices of basic items, including food. Non-adherence to health and safety standards to protect workers, especially in construction and agriculture sectors, which has resulted in severe injuries in some workplaces. The other issues are the need for the ratification of ILO Convention 155, Occupational Safety and Health, ILO Convention 184, Safety and Health in Agriculture, and ILO Convention 176, Safety and Health in Mines. And last but not the least, the need to pay more attention to child labor issues and child trafficking in Ghana, in accordance with the ILO Convention 182 concerning the worst forms of child labor, which Ghana has ratified. This is important because Ghana has been footnoted in the ILO report on the application of international labor standards for 2021. We urge government to continue to pay attention to these and other issues in the interest of peace at the labor front, in the interest of stronger social partnership and social and economic development of our country. But, Mr. President, today is May Day, and our theme is economic recovery in an era of COVID-19, and we want to emphasize the role of social partners. We want to focus our attention on economic recovery and how, together with government and businesses, we can fast-track Ghana's economic recovery in terms of growth and employment creation. In fact, that is why we chose this theme. We are placing special emphasis on the role of social partners, i.e. government, businesses, and workers, because we believe strongly that we can bring our economy back to the pre-pandemic growth path if we deepen social partnership and work together. We are now fully aware of the devastating impact of the pandemic on our economy and on employment, incomes, and on livelihoods after the 2021 budget statement was presented to Parliament. According to the 2021 budget statement and economic policy, in 2020, our economy recorded just about 0.2% growth. The end of period inflation was 10.4%. Overall budget deficit on cash basis was 11.4%. Primary balance was in deficit of 5.3%. Debt to GDP ratio was 76.1%. And the industrial sector grew negatively by 3.1%. The Ghana Statistical Service, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme and the World Bank, has provided data on effects of pandemic on businesses and employment based on the findings of a business tracker survey which was conducted between May 26 and June 17, 2020. The survey covered 4,311 enterprises. The survey confirmed findings of earlier studies conducted by the Labour Research and Policy Institute of TUC and other research centers that the COVID pandemic had considerable impacts on Ghanaian businesses and on employment. Among other findings, the survey showed that 35.7% of business establishments had to close during the partial lockdown of Accra, Tema, and Kumasi. Nearly a quarter, that is 24% of businesses in the hotel and restaurant sector had to close. 16.1% of businesses continued to be closed after the easing of the lockdown, and 4% of enterprises that were surveyed indicated that they had laid off workers at the time of the survey. That represented 1.4% of the workforce, or 41,952 workers. In terms of direct impact of COVID-19 on incomes, 46.1% of business establishments reported that they reduced wages for 25.7% of their workforce and this represents 770,124 workers. This is what the report is saying. Pay reduction affected nearly 800,000 workers in that short period. The survey further showed that only 3.5% of enterprises reported that they had received government assistance. According to the survey, the pandemic had a very negative effect on business confidence as well. A number of firms reported substantial uncertainty in future sales and employment. On average, firms estimated a possible decline of 24% of sales and 15% reduction in employment in the worst-case scenario. And the report concludes that Ghanaian businesses were still affected through a multiplicity of channels, including demand shocks, supply shocks, financial shocks, and continued uncertainty, and they expect that impact to continue in the future. A key recommendation from the survey, which will guide our recovery effort, was that in the short run, policies that support firms in managing financial shocks can be expected to be beneficial, including increasing awareness of current government support schemes, help re-establish broken supply chains, and assist firms adjusting to the new reality. Example, by leveraging digital technologies, can be expected to help businesses recover from the shock. Organized labor is ready to play its role, Mr. President, in the collective effort toward economic recovery. As I said earlier, we believe strongly that we can bring back the economy onto a growth path if we work together in the spirit of cooperation and partnership. This sentiment was aptly captured in a submission by one of organized labor groups. And I would like to quote, "The devastating impact of the global novel coronavirus, COVID-19, on business and labor has come to stay with us and may not leave us anytime soon. This has ushered us into a new normal way of life in both business and our social lives, which we cannot but contend with. The negative impact of COVID-19 on businesses and labor has taught us as social partners to resort to compromise in our relationships in order to revamp and sustain business for our mutual benefit. For us as organized labor, understanding the current dynamics in the business environment will help us to address ourselves to the prevailing situation, thank you, and enable our members sustain their jobs and earn some livelihood. To that extent, we need to continue to sacrifice, as some of our colleagues have already done, to help put our employers' business back on track. During the peak of the COVID-19 ravages in 2020, a lot of workers lost their jobs and a lot more had their wages slashed by half, all as a result of the negative impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Negotiations had to be postponed. As such, a lot of workers have already sacrificed their increment on wages and other benefits. As social partners, if our employers sink, we sink with them. And if we float with them. The import of this analogy is that we should be compliant with the current business culture imposed by the impact of COVID-19, which means we should continue sacrificing to get our employers' businesses back till we get them stabilized. And then we reap the results arising from our sacrifices for our mutual good. This is the end of the quote. Comrades, I decided to quote verbatim what we received from organized labor because of the import it carries. These are the hard facts. The gist of what I have just quoted above is that all social partners have to sacrifice at this stage of our economic recovery. It also buttresses the point that when we recover from the ravages of the pandemic, each of the partners should reap the results arising from our sacrifices for our mutual good. I remember very well, in 1997, the Mine Workers Union are here. We met in Atakwa, and the conditions there were not good. So the union decided to sacrifice. Now, in 1999, after the mining coal prices picked up, the workers were demanding something from the $90 million that, at the time, Anglo Gold had saved. And they granted them $20 each, when they were asking for $200 each. And that resulted in the 1999 Boasi strike. For those of you who are in the mines, you may recall. We expect that we sacrifice, and when we are out of the woods, we expect our sacrifices to pay, and that we should see that there are benefits to sacrifice. Minimum wage and public sector base pay have generated very intensive discussions on various workers' social media platforms in the last couple of days. We expect wage and productivity improvement in both private and public sectors to form an integral part of the government's strategy for economic recovery. What we expect is that we sacrifice, we are out of the woods, something must show that it is good to sacrifice when we are in bad times. That is one way to ensure that workers of Ghana are fairly compensated for the sacrifices toward economic recovery. The 2021 budget statement, which is the first budget in the recovery period, contains the President's vision for 2017 to 2024. The key elements are as follows. Increase private sector inward investment in key areas, including manufacturing, agriculture, and ICT, and leveraging on the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which has its headquarters in Accra. Industrial development, number 2. Number 3, diversified productivity and high-value services. Number 4, leveraging our strategic advantages to position Ghana as a gateway to business in West Africa and Africa. Number 5, positioning Ghana as a hub for manufacturing, education, financial services, transportation, and logistics, petroleum, and aviation. Number 6, infrastructural development, including roads and railways. Number 7, operationalization of the Development Bank of Ghana. And number 8, digitalization of the economy. Government has adopted 100 billion Ghana Cedi COVID-19 alleviation and revitalization enterprise support, Ghana Cares program, as the main pillar of our economic recovery plan. In 2021, which is the first year of the 4-year economic recovery plan, government has outlined the following as the programs to be implemented. Number 1, COVID-19 containment measures, including vaccination. Number 2, economic revitalization and transformation through implementation of the Ghana Cares program, while ensuring debt sustainability. Number 3, consolidation and completion of existing projects to ensure value for money. Number 4, creation of fiscal space for implementation of priority programs. Number 5, creating and sustaining jobs. And I would like to repeat that one. Creating and sustaining jobs. And I hope that under this program, no public sector worker will lose their jobs. Number 6, security. And number 7, entrepreneurship and wealth creation. As social partners, Mr. Chairman, organized labor can identify with President's vision and the programs outlined for recovery. We are very happy to see that COVID-19 containment measures, including vaccination, is the priority number 1 in government's plan for 2021. We expect that all workers and their families will benefit from the vaccination before the end of this year. We are also happy to have creating and sustaining jobs as one of the priority areas for 2021. Mr. President, one thing we want to emphasize in Ghana's economic recovery and growth plan has to do with social protection. A recent study based on stimulated investments in social protection policies on the economies of 8 countries, including Ghana, Bangladesh, Colombia, Costa Rica, Georgia, India, Rwanda, and Serbia. It is titled Investments in Social Protection and Their Impacts on Economic Growth. It was sponsored by International Trade Union Confederation, the ILO, and the Frederick Ebert Foundation. And the study shows that there is a healthy economic and social return on investing in social protection. By applying a robust assessment of the impact of investing, equivalent of just 1% of GDP in each of these 8 countries, the research shows more effective poverty alleviation, increased productivity, even increased taxes, creation of new jobs, and reduced barriers for women who want to enter the labor market or those who left the labor market and want to re-enter. The report further shows the increased investments in social protection can yield between 0.7 and 1.9 times their value in economic returns. We urge government not to ignore the social aspects of our economic recovery plan. Paying special attention to social protection, including the care for the aged, care for children, care for people with disability, basic income grants for the most vulnerable, including the aged who are above 65 without pension, is one way we can make our economic recovery meaningful in terms of human development. Mr. President, you can count on organized labor and all the working people of Ghana to support government efforts toward a very quick economic recovery. As I've said time and again, we are ready to work with government and businesses to bring our economy back to the pre-pandemic growth path. We believe that with a stronger social partnership guided by mutual trust and respect, we can achieve economic growth that will benefit all Ghanaians in all parts of the country. Before I conclude, Chairman, I would like to urge all workers to take note of the upcoming population and housing census, which will be conducted by the Ghana Statistical Service. Please note that the census night is 27th of June, 2021. Please note that the census night is 27th of June, 2021. That is the reference night for the census. But before the census night, before 27th of June, census officials, we call them enumerators, they will visit your homes from 13th of June to gather some very relevant information as part of the exercise. Please welcome them to your homes. As working people of Ghana, we know very well that we count. So we should ensure that each and every one of us is counted in 2021. You count, so get counted. Lastly, I would like to thank the chairman and members of Organized Labor National Planning Committee for all the efforts they put into planning this event. God bless you, my brothers and sisters. I wish you all the working people of Ghana, Aiko, happy May Day. May the good Lord bless our homeland Ghana. Long live Ghana. Long live organized labor. Thank you very much for your attention.
Let's give our Secretary General a bigger round of applause.
Actually, this is our voice, so let's give him 3 bosses. Bossa! 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 Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. We will sing Solidarity Forever. We'll just sing the first stanza and then we'll continue. Let's please stand up.
Union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run. There shall be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is weak than the feeble voice of one? For the union makes us strong. Union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run. There shall be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet and the feeble strength of one, but the union makes us strong. So, solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's resume our seats. Before we invite the Honorable Minister, we want to read quickly some of the placards here. Mr. President, explain the different types of doomso. Mr. President, bring an end to Sakawa business now. Mr. President, yetisikaso nanso yerebre. Honorable Labor Minister, we'll call on our Honorable Labor Minister, Honorable Ignatius Bafwewa, to give us a short Member of Parliament, yes. Please, let's give him a round of applause. Chobwe!
Why, you almost forgot about the fact that I'm an MP. Mr. Chairman, His Excellency the Vice President, please permit me to stand on the earlier protocol. My business here is not to give a speech, but to introduce our special guest of honor. But even that, before I do that, let me just crack a small joke. There's one thing I've noticed this morning. Anytime the MCs are inviting us to sing, they will ask all of us to rise. But then when it got to the song on page 4, We're Gonna Roll, she requested that those of us on the podium sit down whilst we sing. I didn't know why until I read the words in the first stanza. It reads, if the boss is on the way, we're gonna roll it over him. So I didn't know you wanted to roll it over us. Anyway, we are happy today to have in our midst a man who is one of our own. Why do I say that? He's one of our own because issues of labor are of great importance to him, like any other issue of importance. And anytime he had heard of anything involving labor, he will call and ask, or he will invite me and ask me to explain what is happening. He cares so much about labor and is so much fond of labor that he's always been associated with programs of labor. And as rightly said, by the SG. He has been with us throughout all the May Days that we've celebrated under his reign. And interestingly, in almost all our programs, he does not come alone, but he's also always accompanied by the Vice President of the state. It shows the great importance he attaches to issues of labor. Even last year, when things were so tough, COVID was at its peak, and almost invariably, the Labor Day was not going to be observed. He came and joined organized labor at GBC when we had the virtual celebration. Today, true to his word, he is here with us. And who is this man that I'm talking of? He's the #1 gentleman of the state, the Commander-in-Chief of Ghana Armed Forces, and the President of the Republic of Ghana, who also doubles as the chairman of Heads of West African States, ECOWAS. May I, at this juncture, in a very humble mood, invite His Excellency to address us.
Vice President, Greater Accra Regional Minister, Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, Deputy Minister Designate for Employment and Labor Relations, Ministers of State, Secretary General of Organization of African Trade Union Unity, the Chairman, Secretary General, and members of the Executive Committee of the Trades Union Congress, former Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, the Director General of SNET, representative and members of organized labor, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Employers Association, members of the Diplomatic Corps, workers of Ghana and fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be here this morning as we commemorate May Day and pay homage to workers. Let me at the outset congratulate the new chairperson and members of the newly executive committee, including the Secretary General, who was elected unopposed, and like me, will be serving his second and final term of office. A year ago, we were forced to mark the day in the studios of the state broadcaster, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC. COVID-19 had just made its dramatic and pernicious entry into the world and into our lives. We did not know very much about the virus, but we could see the devastation it was causing. And we took the decision very early to follow the advice and recommendations of the scientists and medical people. The advice was to avoid public gatherings, and we decided we could not hold the usual May Day parade. For more than a year now, we've had to endure practices that are quite alien to our culture and our way of life. Words and phrases entered our lives that do not fit in with the Ghanaian way of doing things. We are not a socially distanced people. We like to touch. We like to hug. We like to go to religious events and worship together. We celebrate all the rites of passage in human existence, and we do it together. Suddenly, our lives were truly turned upside down, and we were urged to refrain from doing all the things that come naturally to us. We could not gather to sing together or watch football together. And most difficult of all, we could not mourn our dead together and conduct funerals in the time-honored manner that we know and like. But probably the most difficult thing for most of us to adjust to in the past year has been the wearing of face masks. Secretary General, nobody can say that the wearing of face masks is pleasant. And in spite of the valiant efforts of our tailors and designers to make fashion items out of the face masks, the truth remains that it is not easy to wear face masks. Nobody pretends that it becomes easier with time or with practice. I know that people are tired of having to wear the masks. It is not natural. It is not comfortable. But it is the most effective protection so far that has been designed to help us survive this pandemic. The best prospect for a return to normality appears to depend on our ability to vaccinate the adult population as we have planned. We've up to now vaccinated nearly 1 million persons. International vaccine politics and the unpredictability of the supply chain mean that we have not been able to procure the vaccines according to the schedule we had envisaged. But I want to assure the nation that your government is working hard to secure the vaccines so we can hope to return our country, our economy, and our lives to the normalcy we also desire. Indeed, we're receiving 350,000 more AstraZeneca vaccines from the COVAX facility on Tuesday, in addition to the first consignment of 600,000 that came to hand on 24th February. By 15th May, government would have procured some 1.3 million Sputnik vaccines. We're determined to vaccinate 20 million Ghanaians, i.e. the entire adult populations, by the end of this year, and we remain on course to achieve this goal. Secretary General, organized labor should be interested and should be in the forefront of championing the wearing of face masks. The masks give us the protection that we need to be able to go about daily life and go into our offices and factories and keep the economy open. The workplace should be a safe place, and for the moment, we all have to wear the face masks to make sure that the workplace is safe. One careless person is a danger to all. We have all been witnesses to factories and offices that have had to be shut down because of a COVID outbreak. Some small businesses cannot survive and recover from a shutdown. Sometimes there has been an outbreak in an office or factory because the infection was introduced by someone who went to a party, to a nightclub, or to a gathering and was reckless. Secretary General, our law enforcement officials can do so much, but at the end of the day, it is up to us, the citizenry, to keep each other on the straight and narrow. Do we really want policemen entering our offices and factories to make arrests of people who are not wearing masks? Do we want the police to enter churches and mosques to ensure that we're keeping congregations socially distanced? How many policemen are we going to need to ensure that as I speak here this Saturday, there are not crowds at funerals breaking the rules? COVID-19 has caused enough devastation, both here at home and abroad. Enough people have died. Great economies have been brought to their knees. Here in our country, we worked hard for 3 years and brought fiscal stability and readied our economy for sustainable growth. All that hard work has been severely threatened with the COVID-induced economic slowdown. We thus owe it to ourselves to pull together for the rebuilding effort. COVID-19 has forced many changes in the work environment. Some of these changes will probably disappear when we get over it. Some will probably stay with us and become the new normal way of doing things. The theme for this year's celebration, Economic Recovery in an Era of COVID-19, the Role of Social Partners, highlights most appropriately what we all need to do. Banking, for example, has changed dramatically. And most of the banking staff now work from home. Indeed, working from home is now the regular method of work in many establishments. It is obvious we're going to redefine our understanding of the workplace. Production methods are going to have to change and be adapted. Business owners, management, and workers will all have to work together to adjust to these new ways of doing things. This is the time for organized labor to be asking the hard questions and make sure it can cope with the new way of doing things. Management cannot continue to expect that we do things as we did in the pre-COVID times. In much the same way as workers too must accept that the world has changed significantly. Are we following the developments in the workplace in other parts of the world? And are we trying to keep up with these changes? The skills that are required to survive in the COVID-ravaged world are different from what we have been used to. And unless we keep up and upgrade our skills regularly, we shall be truly left behind. I'm glad to note that the excellent Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, the Honorable Ignatius Bafo-Awia, Member of Parliament for Sunyani West, is working to address the major concern and question of the future of work. I look forward to a frank and vigorous discussion of the subject to make sure we're ready for the many changes that we need to embrace to develop our economy in these changed times. One matter that is presently being addressed and which was raised by the Secretary General has to do with the minimum wage. I'm happy to state that negotiations within the tripartite committee have begun in earnest. Secretary General, this government, in the midst of the pandemic, and despite its debilitating effects, has gone to great lengths to try to protect the lives and livelihoods of the people. For the better part of 1 year, government provided free water for all households, as well as free electricity for lifeline consumers, and a 50% discount for all other consumers. Public sector jobs, for example, have been maintained, and unlike in the case of workers in the private sector, public sector workers have not experienced any retrenchments or any reduction in their wages or salaries throughout the period of this pandemic. This situation will not change. They and those who have been in the front line of keeping all of us safe are recognized and recompensed. In addition, council, and is to be established by year end. We will also use this year to ensure that all workers are vaccinated to protect their lives and enhance their productivity. I have taken the decision to freeze salary increments for this year, 2021, for myself. It is our modest contribution. Nation, though, is that the great majority of our workforce operate in the informal sector. And that is where the greatest devastation, especially of the hospitality industry, which has borne the brunt of the slowdown in the economy. If anyone had any doubts about how interdependent we are all in this world, this pandemic has served as a rude awakening to this fact. You might not have a cousin in Delhi, and you might think that more than 3,000 people dying on a single day from COVID-19 in India is just a headline you can quickly move on from. You might think Brazil is far away, and a rise in coronavirus cases there has nothing to do with our lives in Ghana. But Kwaku Mensah is probably losing his job as a cleaner in a guest house in a suburb of Accra because Emirates has suspended flights to India. Much the same way, we have to recognize that the rise in coronavirus cases in one region affects the whole of the economy of the whole nation. We have personal responsibilities and we have national responsibilities, but nobody is safe anywhere until the pandemic disappears. That is why we cannot hope to revive our economy unless we pull together. Secretary General, revitalizing the economy from COVID-19 will impose great responsibilities on us, the social partners. Government has instituted the 100 billion CD COVID-19 Alleviation and Revitalization of Enterprise Support CARES program, which is aimed at speeding up the recovery. The program will, over the next 3 years, transform, revitalize, and modernize the economy to high and sustained growth. We have to demonstrate our ability, resolve, and determination to change the trajectory of the economy, despite COVID-19 being a disruptive force. And we shall continue to promote the enabling environment and improve the policy framework for the informal economy to thrive. Please excuse me. This is precisely what the 2021 budget statement and economic policy seeks to do. It is a budget that lays out clearly our resolve to revitalize the economy through completion, consolidation, and continuity. We shall complete the many projects that we have started and consolidate the many transformational policies we have introduced and ensure their continuity. Secretary General, the Economic Recovery Program would concentrate especially on the creation of jobs and the expansion of employment opportunities. The 3-week partial lockdown at the peak of the pandemic last year brought to the fore the weaknesses in our systems. We must use this crisis as an opportunity to deal with the long-standing problems that have plagued us. The deficit in our health infrastructure was painfully exposed, and we're dealing with it with the onset of Agenda 111. The lack of adequate social protection was also exposed, especially during the partial lockdown. It is obvious that pensions are not enough to serve as social protection, and we must seek ways to extend social protection during emergencies. Government will collaborate with social partners in the design of new social protection programs. These programs should target individuals in active employment as well as those exiting employment. I've been told that there's a particular urgent item that requires my attention, and that is the construction of the Labor Office complex. I've heard you. I shall speak to the person we all approach with such respects, the Minister for Finance, and ask that he looks upon it favorably. With the 2021 population and housing census set to commence on 27 June 2021, I appeal to organized labor to give enthusiastic support and cooperation to the program, as it will provide an accurate, comprehensive database which will enable government to plan properly the progress and prosperity of Mother Ghana. Let me end with an expression of my appreciation for the relative industrial peace prevailing currently in the country. This is especially important in the light of the additional challenges occasioned by COVID-19. I know the stable labor environment did not happen by chance, but through our combined efforts as social partners. I commend and salute the gallant workers of Ghana. I also urge organized labor to continue to resort to social dialogue in its engagement with government and other stakeholders. In all of this, we must not lose sight of our overarching vision, which is to build a Ghana beyond aid. I'm confident that we can free ourselves from a mindset of dependence, aid, charity, and handouts, and build a self-reliant economy which will mobilize the immense resources of Ghana, material and human, with women and youth in the forefront, to resolve Ghana's problems and deliver a decent, dignified standard of living to the working people of our country. I pray that we're able to celebrate May Day 2022 in a much better atmosphere and without the need of face masks. May God bless organized labor and us all, and may God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong. I thank you all for your attention.
Big up for His Excellency. Let's all rise up and
Big bosses. We are adding one. So let's give Your Excellency 4 big bosses. Bossa!
appreciating the efforts of the Ghanaian worker in this era of COVID. Before the awards, we will humbly request the President of Ghana Employers Association to give his solidarity message in the person of Brother Daniel Achampong.
Thank you very much, and I like the use of brother for me because we are all workers. Your Excellency, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana. Your Excellency, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Honorable Ignatius Bafwewia, Minister of Employment and Labor Relations, and I will not forget you are an MP. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Brother Chairman Alex Nyakupoku, Brother Yaoban, SG of the TUC, Your Excellencies, Doyens of Labor here gathered, and indeed leaders of organized labor here present, Ministers of State, I can cite some of you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. On behalf of the Ghana Employers Association, I wish to thank the leadership of organized labor for the opportunity to deliver a solidarity message on the occasion of the 2021 May Day celebrations in Ghana. Indeed, organized labor has taken the gesture of social partnership to a different level, a very positive one at that, and I will urge that we continue to stay on this trajectory. The GEA recognizes the monumental role played by organized labor and all Ghanaian workers in national development over the years, and accordingly, we salute all of you on this special day. We especially acknowledge the profound sacrifices made by workers in ensuring the survival and socio-economic development of Ghana amid the ravaging effects of the COVID-19 pandemic since it broke out in our country in March. For these, employers say AICO organized labor. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Ghana has made significant strides in limiting and containing the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic to the admiration of the global community. Employers of Ghana would therefore like to seize this opportunity to commend Your Excellency the President for the quality leadership displayed in putting together proactive measures to control the pandemic since its outbreak in Ghana. The well-thought-through health and social policies, protocols, infrastructure, as well as the fiscal and monetary policies implemented to enable the country reach this far in its fight against the pandemic are highly appreciated. The hard and collaborative role played by organized labor in supporting government and employers in the heat of the social pandemic, and indeed economic pandemic in Ghana, is also worthy of commendation. Indeed, the social dialogue mechanism has been very, very useful to Ghana in these challenging times. And we, as employers, urge that we continue to strengthen and sustain this dialogue process going forward. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, having scored high marks in dealing with the initial phase of the pandemic, now is the time for government, employers, and organized labor to work together to ensure that Ghana's economy recovers very quickly from the severe challenges occasioned by the pandemic on our economic and social lives. It is against this backdrop that the GEA finds the theme for this year's celebration, quote, economic recovery in an era of COVID-19, the role of social partners, unquote, very apt. But for COVID-19, available information to us indicates that the implementation of the various economic and social policies, as well as a solid foundation laid by government, would have put the economy on the path of sustained growth for the realization of the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda much sooner. The social partners, therefore, have a great collaborative role to play to take Ghana back to its pre-COVID-19 growth trajectory for the good of the partners in particular and Ghana as a whole. Indeed, one key policy direction that employers believe will facilitate Ghana's rapid recovery process is the 100 billion cedis Ghana Cares Over Atanpa program. Employers are confident that this flagship program, effectively implemented, will help to quickly restore and improve Ghana's macroeconomic stability to aid in the rapid revamping of businesses. We commend government for this comprehensive program and wish to assure that the GEA will continue to work with government and organized labor in the implementation of this program to assure its quick realization. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the GEA believes that vaccination against the COVID-19 virus is the surest way of eradicating the pandemic from the country while boosting the confidence of employers and workers for rapid business and economic recovery. As government works assiduously to procure enough vaccines for the vaccination of all Ghanaians, we entreat organized labor, all workers and their families, to get vaccinated against the COVID-19 pandemic when the vaccines become available. His Excellency has assured us they surely will become available. So please let us get vaccinated. Additionally, the leadership of organized labor and workers have a critical role to play in these economic recovery efforts. Although Ghana has made significant strides in its fight against the pandemic, the uncertainties surrounding the dynamics of the virus globally, as is currently seen in India and Brazil, tells us that there is the need to continue to adhere strictly to all the required protocols to assure our collective safety and business continuity. Employers, therefore, need the cooperation of all workers and unions to ensure that the COVID-19 protocols are strictly observed by all Ghanaian workers and their families at both the workplaces and in their respective homes. Local unions respectfully should continue to educate and sensitize workers on the shared responsibility of promoting personal safety to avoid another wave of the COVID-19 pandemic in our country. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, another key ingredient required for Ghana's rapid economic recovery is a sustained, harmonious industrial relations climate. It is true that government, employers, and organized labor and workers are all challenged, but we know that by working together in mutual respect for, as well as with trust and confidence in each other, we can always resolve all of our differences. Once we agree to tread this noble path of dialogue, consultations, and negotiations, we will rebuild our businesses and the national economy much faster for sustainable employment and improved standard of living for all stakeholders. We are in this together, and together we shall win, God on our side. In conclusion, I wish on behalf of the GEA and all employers in Ghana to congratulate the leadership of organized labor and all workers in Ghana on their role in advancing the goals of progress and social economic development. Long live organized labor. Long live GEA. Long live Ghana, our homeland. Thank you.
Thank you, our employers. That was a long one. It's time for the awards. Today is May Day. We are congratulating all workers of Ghana, and some have distinguished themselves, and they are going to be recognized here. We want to do this very quickly, so please, let's listen to the instructions clearly. We'll mention all the names, and you will line up on my right. Then the citations will be brought out before we invite His Excellency to present them. So we'll mention the names, and then we all line up to my right. We have Brother Kobna Ampo for Apia. Brother Solomon Stephen Kote. Please move forward and line up to my right. Brother Richard Achampong. Brother Adia Abdul Latif. Sister Mariam Osman. Isaac Bonaparte. Werehene. Brother Emmanuel Tende. Sister Matilda Ama Akuaku. Brother Godwin Ziga. Brother Peter Kwating. Brother Ernest Kofi Ahin. Gideon Yanka. Nana Ampov Anan. Brother Joshua Dazi. Sister Patricia Ohini Yakun. Brother Peter Kwating. Brother Patrick Aqua. Brother Joseph Anthony. Brother Eric Adelokwe. Brother Robert Kojo Zanute. Brother Joseph Donko. Sister Mariam Issa. Brother Ebenezer Ni Ayitego. Sister Celestine Kozi. Brother Collins Ohini Ajekum. Brother Felix Atukwe Kwe. The ladies are few. Hey. The ladies are few. Union leaders. Please, next year, more women. Chobwe! Next year, we want to see more women here. I'm sure my boss is here. He's seeing the next year. Make sure your ladies, our names appear. More women, please. More women. Okay. At this point, we'll respectfully invite His Excellency, together with Secretary General and the Honorable Minister of Employment, to do us the honors. The first citation, so when your name is mentioned, you come and take it. After that, we'll all join and take a group photograph. Please make sure your nose mask is on before you get here. The first one goes to the Managing Director of State Housing, Brother Kobna Ampofo Apia. With a woman. Let's. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Kobna Ampofo Apia. The second one goes to our own brother, Solomon Stephen Kote of ICU. Ashali Kote of ICU. Thank you. Yes. The third one goes to Brother Richard Achampong. Brother Richard Achampong of TUC. Well done. Congratulations for the hard work. The fourth one goes to our brother, lawyer Adia Latif. Yes, well done, well done, well done. You have indeed distinguished yourself. Congratulations, congratulations, well done. The final one, now the first lady, the only lady I want there. The final one goes to Sister Marian Osman. Sister Marian Osman of PSWU. Well done, Sister Marian. Well done. You've made all the ladies proud. Okay, so we will request that all of us, those who are award winners, we come and then have a group photograph with His Excellency. So please, let's come closer here. We also have Priscilla Obinjaba to join the local government workers. She is from Local Government Workers Union. And CCT, we have Brother Herbert. Okay, thank you. So we'll take a group photograph. Please, Mayday Planning Committee members, please get ready. Right after them, we take a group photograph with His Excellency. Make sure your nose mask is on. Thank you. Thank you. Let's resume our seat. And then the Mayday Planning Committee members, please come and take a picture with His Excellency. Then we'll be done. Mayday Planning Committee members, please. Please. just made their celebration. They are right on time. And we want to congratulate all of us once again for the work we have been doing. We'll call on our brother, Alhaji Zakaria Muhammad, National Chairman of Health Services Workers Union, to give us the closing prayer.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. We started this program with you, and we want to thank you for your presence and guidance that has led us to a successful end. We pray as we live here, you will continue to grant us your protection and guidance. We also pray that you will shower your traveling mercies on us so that we reach our various destinations safely. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbi Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Hidina sirata mustaqim. Siratan lazina al'amta alayhim. Gairi maglubi alayhim waladdalin. Amen. Salam alaikum, brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Amen. His Excellency and his entourage leaves before we also depart. So, after that, we'll have some announcements for all. National Anthem. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's remain standing as His Excellency leads us. Thank you, Your Excellency. We are so grateful. Yes, let's appreciate His Excellency for joining us today too. We are so grateful you came. Thank you, sir. Ampa, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Thank you, Your Excellency, the Vice President.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for coming. We are so grateful you came. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, we thank you. Your Excellency, the Vice President is leaving us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah. Yes, thank you, Regional Minister, for joining us. Regional Minister, yes. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Oh, Honorable Minister of Information was here.